Thank you.
Did someone tell you to make magic? Oh, man. Oh, man. Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, I love that. Good morning. My name is David Carl Olson. and welcome to our service here at the Unitarian Universalist congregation at Shelter Rock. We have a very special service today with some guests, and we're going to show up as our bests, aren't we? We're going to be our best? Yes, we are. I serve this congregation with my colleague, Reverend Israel Bufardi, soon to become the minister at the UU congregation in Huntington, and both of us under the care of our beloved lead minister, Dr. Natalie Fenimore. We ministers are delighted to serve a congregation that is full of leadership. Whether you are a visitor, a newcomer, a longtime member of this congregation, you are welcome here. Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. In this community, we use science, reason, and an open heart to explore life's many mysteries. To learn more about our congregation and more about Unitarian Universalism, please visit our welcome desk in the lobby or go to our website, UUCSR.org. The leadership of our congregation invites you into the fuller life of this congregation. You may have noticed that our social hall has been transformed into a symphonic orchestra rehearsal space for a few weeks. This is to prepare for the summer concert on the afternoon of August 3rd, when our music ministry will present Mahler's Das Lied von der Erde. Tickets are available through our calendar online. To accommodate this transformation of that space, our Sunday Cafe will, for a few weeks, be held in the Art Gallery, and today we will celebrate summer birthdays with cake and fresh fruit. Please join us. Does that sound good? I was told that the problem is we're serving too much cake, so we need to have fruit. I said, okay, that's fine. I said, we like cake. Okay. This afternoon at 1 p.m., here in the worship room, we present a special opportunity. Our congregation will join with community leaders and the new Sanctuary Coalition to consider the state of our nation. Many of us are U.S. citizens. We carry both the power and the responsibility to side with and be in solidarity with immigrants when ICE threatens to tear a neighbor from our community. Your presence can be a shield, your voice a signal that we will not stand by in silence. Nationally recognized leader Ravi Ragbir will equip us with the knowledge and tools to side with those who are under attack and to defend the values that bind us together. 1 o'clock here in the worship room right after cake. Our summer services include an opportunity to hear from Unitarian Universalist voices from throughout our association. Next week, Reverend Jacqueline Brett of the Eno River Congregation of North Carolina will speak on our democratic values. She writes, as many of us take actions to save American democracy, we are invited to consider the in-between space of the old story of our democracy and how in this liminal space and time we might employ our imaginations to create a new story of democracy and freedom. Please join us here in the worship room or online at 11 a.m. next week. At Shelter Rock, we aspire to be a loving religious community where we can grow spiritually and build a more just and joyful world. You are welcome to join us on the journey. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm the Reverend Dr. Michelle Walsh. I'm the lead minister for the First Parish UU in Canton, and I'm delighted to be here with you this morning, along with my spouse, the Reverend Dr. Clyde Grubbs, who will be giving the sermon in a short while, and you can read more about us on the back of your order of service. I asked David if you had a regular standard land and labor acknowledgement that you engaged and read here. And he said that you don't, but sometimes you do have something that is acknowledged. I wanted to let you know that there's a way that you can do this so that you have a short acknowledgement at the beginning of your service and you have something written that's included in your order of service. And I wanted to use what we use at the First Parish UU in Canton as an example. We developed a relationship with the Neponset Band of the Massachusetts tribe, and Thomas Green helped us there with our land and labor acknowledgement, as well as our legislative action body, the UU Mass Action. So to give you an example of how you might do this here at Shelter Rock, we acknowledge at the beginning the history of indigenous peoples and the dispossession of their lands, including what the original name was of the land by the peoples of that land. And here you are on the land of the Lenape people, who have numerous villages that were part of their confederation. And when they try to get recognition by the federal government, because that's the only way that they can lay claim to their lands and protect their lands, they have to do so under the name of tribe. So I know that you have some relationships and some that you have worked with, but we are very specific that we say that the original lands in Canton and the neighboring towns were named as Ponkapong by the indigenous peoples. And in our land and labor acknowledgement, we pay respects to the Neponset Band, among other bands of the Massachusetts tribe who have stewarded this land throughout the generations, as the Lenape people have done and continue to do. We honor their continued presence here and throughout their diaspora, and we also acknowledge that we in Canton, as well as we here now at Shelter Rock, do not exist independently from centuries of forced labor and economic extraction from enslaved and indentured Black, Indigenous people of color, including children as well as poor white immigrants and residents suffering abusive child labor and economic exploitation. And we want to affirm that although we cannot change history, we can and will work for justice, and that justice first begins in direct relationship with mutual recognition and acknowledgement of our shared histories, experiences, and interactions. And as we speak today of empire, our little empire, I can think of no better place to begin than to acknowledge land and labor and our relationship with peoples. For our chalice lighting this morning, I'm going to read words by Jamie Yandel. We light this flame to ignite the sacred power of justice. We light this flame so that it may be a beacon of hope in moments of uncertainty, fear, anxiety, and the unknown. We light this flame and are emboldened by its blaze, knowing our strength as a prophetic and powerful people is rooted in the diverse ways we answer the call to love.
Before the light of the chalice, in the presence of each other, let us rise in body and spirit as we are able to sing our opening hymn, Gather the Spirit. This is a hymn of Jim Scott, and interestingly, just this past week, I confirmed with Jim Scott that he is going to lead a Sunday service in August. So I'm sure you'll be back for that, right? There we are. But let's get warmed up for that. A summer of Jim Scott. What the heck?
Witness the Gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, compassion, and strength. Gather to celebrate once again. Gather the Spirit growing in all, drawn by the moon and fed by the sun. Winter to spring and summer to fall, the chorus of life resounding as one. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, compassion, and strength. Gather to celebrate once again.
Big breath. Let it out. Another big breath. I take this one to the side to think of the people I'm in solidarity with, walking side by side, being side by side. Big breath from this earth to the sky. And just feel the energy pouring through your body. And so equipped, let us make big promises to one another by saying together our words of affirmation and then singing our song. Here we go. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve human need. This do we affirm and covenant with each other. Works best here. From all that dwell below the skies, let all of faith and hope arise. Let peace, goodwill on earth be sung through every land, by every tongue. And I'm not allowed to say play ball, but please be seated. You forgive me. I'm a little goofy sometimes. You see on the back of the order of service, if you have one, a biography both of Dr. Grubbs and of Dr. Walsh. I'm going to speak, if I may, just a little personally, as a person who, after college, moved to Boston temporarily for 28 years. I came to know many Unitarian Universalists and many community leaders during those years. And sitting before you are two of such community leaders. I first knew Dr. Walsh as she was working with inner city youth in Roxbury, Massachusetts, and programs that helped them to find community with one another and to prepare themselves for the way they live in the world. I remember their annual trips to important places like stopping in Baltimore on the way to Washington, D.C. And I have a special affection for Baltimore, and you know that, but that's another story. I'm happy to be here. But Dr. Walsh not only has degrees in social work, but also became a Unitarian Universalist minister and is now doing a work of a reconstruction, of rebuilding, of finding ways for communities to be in touch with their contexts, with each other, their history, and their promise. And I'm so glad that Michelle Walsh is with us today. Dr. Grubbs has been my teacher for a long time, and a person that I have turned to for the best wisdom that I know. And in his work as a community organizer, his work as a labor organizer, and his work as a historian, he's been a model for me about what it might mean to be a Unitarian Universalist minister, to actually be about organizing, to be about the labor of people in constructing their own lives, their own communities, and in the world that we want to build together. And to bring to all of that a sense of our history, but a sense of our possibilities, a sense of our future. These are the things that Dr. Grubbs has given to me in my life, and I'm so grateful that he was able to respond to the invitation to be here and to be with you today. I am anticipating a time of great blessing for all of us. So there you go. Thank you.
On this shining night of storm-made shadows round, kindness must watch for me this side the ground. But it lies down the north, all is healed, all is health. High summer holds the earth, hearts all whole. Sure on this shining night I weep for wandering far alone of shadows on the stars.
Thank you. Each Sunday we share an opportunity toward living our Unitarian Universalist values in the world by our acts of generosity to bring about positive change. During the month of July and August, we are invited to support Rewild Long Island, which is dedicated to collaborating with communities and across Long Island to protect and improve the biodiversity, resilience, and health of regional ecosystems. This is achieved by adopting sustainable landscaping practices centered on the use of native plants. Our community is invited to support Rewild Long Island financially and to add our own acts of conservation and balance in the ecosystem of this precious planet to which we belong. In the pews, there should be a little card like this, and if you flip it on the back, it has more stories about Rewild on the front. If you look on the back, there is a little QR code that you can use to make your contribution. For the retro folk in the crowd who like to do it the old-fashioned way, you're welcome to leave a check or cash in the donation box out in the hallway. I'm going to invite you to join in our response by singing "From You I Receive, to You I Give." I was told that I was a little too fast last week, so we'll slow it down a slightly bit. But please stand, and we remember, you see someone across the room, we're all at a dance together, and you get this joy in your face. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share. And oh, just love you, love you, love you, from this we live, right? We're going to try that. Here we go. Cheeks up. See someone. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. These offerings are gratefully received by those who would be good stewards of justice, equity, and compassion in this house, in this county, and unto the universe. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. You sounded beautiful today. Please be seated.
I have been a Buddhist practitioner for many years as my core spiritual practice as a Unitarian Universalist. And in my congregation, I typically lead a Zen Buddhist style of meditation first and follow that with a spontaneous prayer. So I invite you to find a comfortable way to sit in your pews. Both feet on the floor can be helpful, hands in your lap or at your side, whatever way feels most comfortable. And just bring your attention to the breath. Notice how the breath comes in cool and it's warmed by the body on exhale. Invite any parts of your body that are feeling sore or tense just to relax if they're willing or able. And if not, maybe just apply a warm, welcoming attention to those parts. You can shrug your shoulders up, drop them down, roll your neck. We carry a lot of tension in those parts of our bodies. And if you can, just allow the muscles of your face to soften and relax, and perhaps a half smile to come to your lips as we invite the bell to sound 3 times, and then sit quietly together for a moment. And then I'll invite the bell to sound again, and then I'll lead a prayer. God of many names and no names, many genders and no gender, and whom we know within our Unitarian Universalist tradition as a precious and mysterious spirit of life and love that moves in us and among us and out into our larger world, bringing our faith and values and actions to a world sorely in need of us. On this morning, we are grateful to be together, in person or virtually. We honor the ways in which we can be together. And we note those who are absent due to illness or for other reasons of travel. And we note our care and our love for them and renew our commitment to all that makes this congregation so strong, so vibrant, in the love that we bring to one another. And we witness that this love is so large that we bring it out into our larger world in so many ways, ways that are known to each of us and ways that are not known, because we are so deeply grounded in who we are as a Unitarian Universalist people. And because our hearts are so large, we can hold the magnitude of the pain and worry and concerns of this world in these times. We do so together because we are stronger together as we face so much that is challenging. Heartbreak in political segments of this country, heartbreak in our larger world from wars, displacement of peoples, and the ways in which our country contributes to that. We renew our vows to work towards a world of peace and justice, with commitments to diversity, equity, and inclusion that are ongoing and deep in who we are. We witness to that when we say our words of affirmation every morning. We are blessed, and we vow to bring that blessing and that strength of community to our larger world. Blessed be. Amen. And now is the time in your service when you come forward to light candles, expressing what is deep in your heart of concern or sorrow or joy. I invite you to come forward this morning to light silent candles as you're willing and able. Our reading this morning comes from 1 Samuel chapter 8, verses 1 through 20. When Samuel became old, he made his sons judges over Israel. The name of his firstborn son was Joel, and the name of his second was Abijah. They were judges in Beersheba. Yet his sons did not follow in his ways, but turned aside after gain. They took bribes and perverted justice. Then all the elders of Israel gathered together and came to Samuel at Ramah and said to him, "You are old, and your sons do not follow in your ways. Appoint for us then a king to govern us like other nations." But the thing displeased Samuel when they said, "Give us a king to govern us." Samuel prayed to the Lord, and the Lord said to Samuel, "Listen to the voice of the people in all that they say to you, for they have not rejected you. They have rejected me from being king over them. Just as they have done to me, from the day I brought them up out of Egypt to this day, forsaking me and serving other gods, so also they are doing to you. Now then, listen to their voice. Only you shall solemnly warn them and show them the ways of the king who shall reign over them." So Samuel reported all the words of the Lord to the people who were asking him for a king. He said, "These will be the ways of the king who will reign over you. He will take your sons and appoint them to his chariots and to be his horsemen and to run before his chariots. And he will appoint for himself commanders of thousands and commanders of 50s, and some to plow his ground and to reap his harvest, and to make his implements of war and the equipment of his chariots. He will take your daughters to be perfumers and cooks and bakers. He will take the best of your fields and vineyards and olive orchards and give them to his courtiers. He will take 1/10 of your grain and of your vineyards and give it to his officers and to his courtiers. He will take your male and female slaves and the best of your cattle and donkeys and put them to his work. He will take 1/10 of your flocks, and you shall be his slaves. And on that day you will cry out because of your king, whom you have chosen for yourselves. But the Lord will not answer you on that day." But the people refused to listen to the voice of Samuel. They said, "No, we are determined to have a king over us, so that we also may be like other nations, and that our king may govern us and go out before us and fight our battles." Here ends the reading.
Sometimes I lay under the moon and thank God I'm breathing, and then I pray, don't take me soon, 'cause I am here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know one day it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more, there'll be no more wars, and our children will play. One day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day. It's not about win or lose, 'cause we all lose when they feed on the souls of the innocent. Blood-drenched pavements keep on moving, though the waters stay raging. And in this maze, you can lose your way, but just keep on moving and don't let it faze you. No way, no way. Sometimes in my tears I drown, though I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know one day it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play. One day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day. One day this all will change, treat people all the same. Down with the violence, stop with the hate. One day we'll all be free and proud to be under the same song, singing songs of freedom. Way-oh, to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play. One day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day.
One day. So we heard the story that Michelle read. Samuel the prophet warns, no kings, no kings. Be a people who empowers each other, not a people that powers over others. The book of Samuel was put together, edited and included in the Hebrew Bible some 2,600 years ago. 2,600 years ago, the book of Samuel was put into the Hebrew Scriptures, and the stories, the oral traditions about Samuel are at least 1,000 more years older than the book of Samuel that appears in the Hebrew Scriptures. So it's 3,000 years. This message is 3,000 years old, perhaps, almost that. Now, suffice it to say, then, that the problem of empire is an old one. It's not a new thing. Empires came about by conquest. Kings led conquest. Kings were rulers of a warrior state. Empires resulted from winning battles, wars. The king not only led the nation in war, the king makes the nation rich and powerful by maximizing its extent, securing a large economic sphere for that people, and subject to common laws, so the merchants of the empire flourish. And on the other hand, the empire involves victims, peoples, subjugated, dominated, pacified, displaced. So the elders of Israel who were petitioning Samuel are ambitious. They picture themselves with a king, a powerful leader, then they will be a contender. They will be rich like other nations. But Samuel warns there's a shadow cast by the power of empire. A shadow cast by the power of empire. Yes, you will experience yourself as powerful, but in fact you will become subject to the power of your own empire. When one thinks about it, there's a profound theological, religious question involved there. There's a price demanded when one loves any God, any ideology, any ideal that is about being more powerful than others. There's a price. And it shouldn't surprise us that the whole social context of that thing we call the Bible, from Genesis to Revelations in the Christian Bible, the whole Bible, the drums of empires beat. And just over and over and over again, you just read book after book, chapter after chapter. The religious poetry of the Hebrews is shaped by conquest, exile, slavery, warnings about impending invasions, prophecies. And on the other hand, the whole talk of a kingdom of God and visions of beloved community arises countercultural answers, countercultural hopes to the brutal power of the empires that are oppressing them. So whether the ruler is called Solomon, or Pharaoh, or Nero, I counted about 18 empires in the Bible, from Genesis to Revelations. And the Bible tells us not there's not one peace-loving, justice-making emperor. Not one. The empire's been around a long, long time. So our own George Washington knew what he was doing when he finally described the United States as our little empire. Our little empire. Empire was the open aspiration of the so-called founding fathers. Their letters, their recorded speeches are full of ambition for this new United States. The people of the United States were defined by laws as white men of property. Yet the vast majority of the people on the land ceded to the United States by the Treaty of Paris were indigenous. What the Constitution called Indians not taxed. The relationship of the newly independent republic to this hemisphere's original people was ruler to ruled, empire to colonized peoples. Indians not taxed were to be ruled over, not included in some democratic multicultural community. There was neither party thought that. Indigenous America was exiled to concentration camps, so-called reservations. And so we were founded as an empire. It's been part of us for all that time. The total landmass of the United States was surpassed only by Russia and the entire British Empire. So the third most territorially big empire during the George Washington administration, without and the Jefferson administration with the purchase of the Louisiana Purchase. Our formative heroes so the first generation, that first generation of Unitarian Universalists, second generation of the Unitarian Universalists of the middle of the 19th century, grew up, learned their Bible, loved their God, as citizens of a Republican empire where the people bore arms in well-regulated militias to suppress slave revolts and remove Indians from their lands. And like us, the social justice and ethical dilemmas of the 19th century Unitarians and Universalists were shaped by conflicts and controversies generated by an expanding empire. One generation of Unitarians after another had this problem. We want social justice. We got an empire. And at the same time, as their ethical dilemmas are being pushed by the atrocities of empire, Emerson wrote a famous letter to the President of the United States protesting the Trail of Tears, and he didn't get an answer. And he was mad. He said, why? He didn't even answer my letter. Didn't even answer my letter. So at the same time, the economic well-being of Unitarians and Universalists, their very prosperity was enhanced by land seized and policed by military force. Canals, turnpikes, telegram lines, railroads built by government subsidy helped spread the United States to the Mississippi, to the Rockies, to the West Coast. Poor immigrants brought to labor in new enterprises, and New England merchants' trade protected the seven seas by a very, very good Navy. Very good Navy. Good Navy. And this was true not only of the prosperous denizens of the Atlantic seaboard, Beacon Streets, the downtowns, the Philadelphias, with their sea captains, their bankers, their shopkeepers, their investors, small and large. Look west and we see the story of Olympia Brown, the first woman ordained to the Universalist ministry. She attended grade school, built in a grade school in a log cabin built by her father and other men. They came together, Universalist village, and they built a school for their children. Powerful. And she was born 1 decade after the Kickapoo, the Fox, and the Ojibwe peoples were defeated and moved west. This land that she was born on and grew up in was made safe for Universalist farmers and circuit riders by imposed treaties and soldiers and land speculators. So let me suggest that our liberal religious relationship to empire took shape and has been a part of us from the first half of the 19th century. And that relationship may have evolved with Pentagon Papers, study action proposals, justice GAs, but a certain pattern has held. Unitarian Universalists, until recently, have enjoyed an expanding economy, an expansion made possible by the growth of our little empire to worldwide significance. And at the same time, Unitarian Universalists have righteously and honestly protested the many horrors that were being cultivated by the implicit and overt violence of our little empire. Manifest Destiny, also known as American Imperial Expansion, was celebrated in sermons and poems and lecture circuits and editorials. Read Thoreau, read Emerson, read all of Whitman, and sing America the beautiful from sea to shining sea. Empire was celebrated, but its consequences were protested. It made us angry. In sermons, in poems, in lecture circuits, and editorials. Romance, the empire protests the horrors. Slavery, the suffering of Indians, the impoverished immigrants, the poor laws, the progressive diminishment of women's rights, rightly enraged many Unitarian Universalists, but they would make their protests at town meetings and state conventions and pen open letters to the newspapers, but in vain. We look for an analysis, a comprehension that these injustices were inherent in the racialized, militarized system of empire. Unitarian Universalists in my lifetime, and I have been a Unitarian Universalist since they sprinkled water on me at 9 months old. Unitarian Universalists have made a sharp turn away from empire. I think the opposition to the Vietnam War and the civil rights movements propelled that, but how human communities make a change is worth 10, 15 more PhDs to study. We no longer see our religion as best suited for white people. We don't do that anymore. And that, my friends, is big. We are coming to see the connection between social and economic inequality and how we make decisions together in democracy. But we must remember where we came from. And as we live into that promise, live into that commitment, it will be, and it has begun to be, transformative. Samuel was right so many years ago. Turning the decision-making over to a king, the imperial court, to the war machine, even when it takes the form of a republic, gives us the illusion of being powerful like other nations, being powerful among the nations, but the imperial impulse, giving ourselves over to a power that will fight our wars, expand our economy, and assure domestic tranquility, may make us feel secure in a violent world, taken care of, given safety. But when the empire is outrageous, not if, when, then individuals, even a collection of individuals, will become morally outraged but profoundly impotent. There is hope not in retiring the old king for a new one. No. Kings are kings. But in the slow, deliberative work of intentional communities. Communities like what congregations are called to be. There's hope in all that we are learning about siding with love and all the connections we are making within this work. And we are finding ourselves transformed. In such work and in congregations united in vision and mission, Unitarian Universalists can forge a new relationship to the powers, living into our values, standing together in love, and not seeking to subdue nature, but seeking relationship, mutuality with all creation. Committing in covenant with all that has been revealed and all that will be revealed as we forge beloved community together.
And as we hear the call to form a new relationship to what it means to be Unitarian Universalists in this context, in this country, and dismantle our little empire, let us sing together, "We are building a new way." Please rise in body or spirit as you're willing and able.
And I'm going to ask, can we say thank you to our guests? And let's sing this song like we should sing this song,
Yes,
all right?
let's sing it.
We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. Hate and greed and jealousy. We are working to be free. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. Start with love, that is the seed. We can feed our every need. And freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these words, world would die. Peace and freedom is our cry. Yes.
Beautiful. In the words of my colleague, the Reverend Tom Shade, my friends, there is a power at work in the universe. It works through human hands, but it was not made by human hands. It is a creative, sustaining, and transforming power, and we can trust that power with our lives and with our ministries. It will sustain us whenever we take a stand on the side of love, whenever we take a stand for peace and justice, whenever we take a risk, trust in that power. We are together, held by that power. And as we extinguish our chalice this morning, this was written by Amy McKenzie. When we say, "Go now in peace," we mean the peace that asks us to stop grasping after power over, and the peace that demands that we live fully and that we love with a fierce love, that we hope with a bold hope, that we pray and sing and struggle. Remember this. Within and all around us is our source. May we return to it, heed it, and honor it. Amen, and blessed be.